All right. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for today's burst of innovation. So this week is all about getting buy-in for your ideas. So here's the thing. I think we spend a lot of time, rightfully so, on how to unlock more innovation, how to find the opportunities, how to drive the innovation. And that's great. The part that I think we don't talk enough about just in the world in general is the second part of it, which is how to get buy-in for those ideas, for all your brilliance. And Kirby has thrown down the gauntlet and told me that this better be great because this is a topic he's discussed. So I'm going to bring my A game today. So actually, hopefully I do every time. But I want to talk a little bit about that, this second part of it, how to get buy-in for ideas. Now, I want you to get the chat bar and your fingers ready because there's going to be some interaction, and I want you to really be thinking about this because here's the thing. I don't want you just thinking about this from an intellectual level of, oh yeah, I hear what Tamara's saying. I actually want you to really be thinking about how it applies to your world. And the best way to do that is to vocalize it, which means in our case, putting it in the chat bar so I can put it on this little interactive chart that I'm going to pull up. So what I want to do today is I want to share a story with you. Then I want to talk about why it is okay to be selfish and what that looks like when it comes to communication and to buy-in. So let me start with a story, and then I'm going to go into the lesson and how we change, how we communicate our ideas so that we get more buy-in. So here's what happened to me. So I'm at the, like in the middle management level of this company, right? I'm kind of that like junior director. So I've got a small team of frontline people under me. I've got colleagues and I've got my leadership team above me who I'm responsible to. And I had figured out a new way to repackage our products and services to our customers in a way that I thought would better fit their needs. So their needs had evolved. Our products and services were still good, but how we were maybe delivering them wasn't what it needed to be. So I talked to customers, I did all this digging, I put together this great PowerPoint presentation, and I brought into the room the entire team. I brought my frontline staff, my peers, because they were going to have to implement this too, and my leaders, of course, the bosses who ultimately are the ones I really needed the buy-in from to get the resources to make it happen. So I bring them all in and I take them through this incredible journey. And the journey starts with why I even came up with this idea. It then goes into all the deep pain my customers have, like why our customers have, why this idea is going to work for them. I go into the features, I go into the benefits. I end with this awesome rollout strategy to just kind of think ahead and get to implementation. So I do all of this, right? I wrote it all down because I wanted to make sure, I wish I could share this presentation with you because it was flawless. I'm not going to lie, it was great, right? Like the why, the pain, the journey, the features, the benefits, the rollout strategy, which by the way, was integral because it showed it didn't take that much to roll this out. Like this could happen pretty easily. So I go through all that and the results I got back were, I need more time to think about this. They were meh at best. And I walked away from that super, super frustrated. And then I picked up a book called Story Brand. And I don't know if you've, or maybe that's not the name of the book. Donald Miller is the name of the guy. His company is Story Brand. And his whole thing is how to tell a story, really more from a marketing perspective. And in that moment, when I'm reading his book about telling the story, I realized something. I forgot that the people on the other side of the table have the right to be selfish. And it's my job communicating those ideas to share and to communicate my ideas in a way that makes me communicate what's in it for them. So here's the thing that happens to us. And here's what happened in that meeting. I walked in again with all this great data. It was great data. But what I missed was what was in it for the people on the other side of the table. What was in it for them that would make them want to buy into my ideas. We are all selfish at the end of the day, and that's perfectly okay. It is human nature. So now you might be thinking, all right, Tamara, I've heard that before. Like, yeah, we're all like, need buy-in, like people need to know what's in it for them. But I want to take it a step deeper for you. And this is what was the game changer for me. And this is what came out of Donald Miller's book. So if you ever want to grab it, I highly recommend it. I think it's called Building a Story Brand or Building a Brand. If you type in Donald Miller, you will find it. Here's what I realized. There's two types of pain. There's two types of pressures, what's in it for them, that we need to address. It is the external and the internal. So the external of the what's in it for them are the things that are obvious. Building a story brand. Yes, Paul, thank you. The external is things like the obvious, right? What you see on the surface. They're responsible for the P&L and they need a new revenue stream. Their leaders are tasking them, like if you think about your leadership, their leaders are tasking them to create a culture of innovation, but they don't know how, right? Like those are obvious. Here's the part where I think is the secret sauce, and that's the internal. The internal are the things that are rolling around in all of our heads that we don't always have the opportunity to give voice to. We don't know how to give voice to, but we feel it. It's the emotion and the inside conversations. And oh my gosh, when you can give voice, when you can articulate the internal dialogue that your people are having, whether that's your leadership or your frontline staff, it is a game changer. So I go back to this meeting and I go in and I share their external and their internal pain. I share what's in it for them. And I got buy-in out of the gate. Now I had to do some real thinking about this, and we're going to do this right now. What's in it for them? Okay. Kirby shared what's in it for me. Is that a radio station? What's in it for me? Is that a real radio, Kirby? If it is, that's an awesome resource. Here's what I want us to do. I'm going to share a PowerPoint slide and I'm going to go through some as a starter, but I want you in the chat bar to put in some external and internal pains that you want. And if you want this little table that I created, you are, hold on, let me share this. You are welcome to it. Let me know if you can see let me get the chat bar up again. Okay. Here's what I want to think about. When you're presenting your idea to your customer, your leadership up top, your frontline staff, your colleagues, I want you to take a second and I want you to fill this out for them. What are their external pains? What are the things that are obvious that you're trying to solve for? They may even articulate these. In fact, they often do. And what's their internal pain? What is the internal emotion and dialogue that they're having? So let me give you some examples from my world, from LaunchStreet and from the Everyday Innovators tribe, okay? The external pain is, well, their work and our people's work and their contributions are being valued, right? Like they know that people are buying into their ideas. Well, the internal side of that is feeling less than. It's feeling insecure and questioning your own abilities. It's like, death by 10,000 cuts, right? After a while, it starts to work at you, but that's the internal side, right? And then we have a solution for that, right? The language of innovation method. We're not going to spend a lot of time on solution today because that's not the point, but this is the exercise for you to go through to link everything together. So I want you in the chat bar in our last couple of minutes, I want you to write in some internal and external, and I'm going to add them here because I think we can add so much depth to each other by doing this together. And again, this is your chance to really put those innovator muscles to practice. It's not just about me, it's about you too. Okay, wait, I have one here. Sarah puts, change brings fear and difference day to day. So Sarah, is that an internal and external from your view? It feels internal, but I want to double check. I'm gonna put here as you. Or maybe that's external. And I guess the question is, what would that bring? Day to day. Oh, internal. Okay, I'm going to put it internal. Yes. Yep, it could be both in some cases. I agree with you actually on that. So keep typing. So this is good. I want internal, I want external, right? My other external was people call me and say they need to pivot fast, right? So, well, what that really means is that they have a fear of being irrelevant. That's what's going on inside their heads. So I'm going to give you an example of this because this is one of the things that with my leadership I went to and said, we have to pivot, right? Everybody knew we had to pivot. I said, we have to pivot fast. I said, because what we don't want to do is put ourselves on a fast track to irrelevance. This is going to help us get out of that feeling of our customers moving beyond us. When I said things like that, they piped up and were like, oh, totally, yes, that is exactly what we need. When you go into your next meeting to communicate your ideas, you got to think about what is in it for the people on the other side of the table. We're all selfish, but like I said, I really want you to take it this level deeper, because I think that is just on the surface. When we think about what's in it for them, we're thinking about the external, right? Well, they'll make better numbers, they'll service their customers faster, they'll get more customers. Well, that's all great. It's the internal that really drives decisions. We are emotional beings. That's the stuff inside our head that if we can give a voice to, it is absolutely game changing for getting buy-in for our ideas. Okay, I know I'm a minute over, so let me take this page off. If you want this very easy table, let me know, although it's perfectly easy to recreate yourself. Internal, external. Oh, here, Mia put in something. Let me add this, Mia. Sorry, I missed yours. Yes, need to bring in new. Love it when you guys are all interactive. It's so great. I love it. Hold on. That's the external. Yep, agreed. Hold on, let me see. You put in the external. Internal, sorry. The stress of keeping up with competition, right? So that's the external. So now let's talk about like, so need to bring in new partners, not more, just different. And the stress of keeping up with competition. So here's my question to all of us. What is that stress of keeping up with the competition? What does that lead to? What's the internal side of that, right? It's feeling exhausted, feeling like you're spinning your wheels, feeling, yes, Kirby, burnout, exactly. Exhaustion, you get it. You guys totally get it. This is awesome. And Mia, need to bring new brand partners, not more, just different. Why does that matter, right? Because you're going to be left behind if you don't, right? That's the internal. I don't mean you specifically. You are obviously not, because you are in the tribe, but you know what I'm saying? Like that fear of being left behind. And don't afraid to get overly emotional with this. We have these in our head. I know this because I deal with this all the time in our world. When people come to me and say, I need to be more innovative, what's happening in their brain is the world is moving fast and I have a fear of being left behind, which, by the way, is perfectly natural. We all have this. So don't be upset about having it. Don't kind of feel shame about having it. That's what the people on the other side of the table are facing too. So really think about it. You will also, by the way, as a bonus comment, you will also hear it in their questions. Their questions, if you dig deep into their questions, are actually that. So when I go back to my story in the beginning of, let me take off my screen, of sharing about not getting that buy-in, one of the questions I got at the end was, how are we going to roll this out when we're doing this other stuff too? What that really was, that I learned the next time around, was, how am I supposed to add more to my plate tomorrow? I am overwhelmed and exhausted trying to keep up with what we have. That was the internal that I needed to address. I didn't just need to address the implementation and rollout that was flawless. I needed to address the internal as well. Oh, Kirby, I'm going to add this one too. I know I'm keeping you guys a little over. Sorry. How to make my product relevant. Let me add that. I'm going to add that on here. These are so good. I love it when you guys do this. Okay, and the internal, I can copy and paste what others have said. Yeah, right? It's the fear, right? It boils down to kind of some very simplistic or very common themes, as you'll find. I'm going to show you this really quickly before I go, because this is something that I was doing for the Everyday Innovators Tribe for our membership program. One of the things I did was I listed out what are the 13 pains. I'm going to show you this very quickly. I don't have the solutions written into this document yet, but I just want to show you this. What are the 13 pains, internal and external, of the people that I'm speaking to, right? The people who would want to come into the tribe. Let me just show you this very quickly. This is a total transparent moment, pulling me back, by the way, right? Like external stuck in a rut in their career and life, fear of being irrelevant, feeling irrelevant. Their working contribution, I talked about that one. I'm tired of spinning their wheels, exhausted and afraid they'll be stuck forever, leading to a feeling of hopelessness, right? Trying to get their team to innovate. Oh, let me go this one. Trying to get team over their resistance to change, right? If you're a leader and you've got a team of change, well, they're worried they won't be seen as a strong leader and they won't reach their goals. You see the point, right? All right, let me stop sharing my screen. I'm oversharing at this point, I know. Okay, thank you, thank you. Thanks for being here. I want you to work on these this week. I really mean it. This is a game changer for getting buy-in to your ideas, is digging into that external that internal, and then connecting them to whatever your idea is. It's not just about active listening. It's about really thinking about what are the things inside the head that you can give voice to. And like I said, if you listen to their questions, but you like go 3 layers deep, you'll hear it. You'll hear what they're trying to get to. Okay. Thank you for being so incredibly engaged this morning. Thank you for digging in with me. If you need a screenshot of anything that I missed, just let me know. Hopefully you guys got them. But what a great way to start the week, how to get buy-in. So here's what I want. I want you all to try it. And then I want you to come back and I want you to email me how you did an internal and external pain and you got more buy-in or more momentum or more conversation than you would have otherwise. I want to hear these stories so that we can share them and we can all learn from them because they are incredible. Thank you. I know I kept you over. Now I lost my Zoom. Where to go? There it is. You're welcome, Sarah. Thank you for being here and for playing. I love it. Let's bump these up to 15 minutes. Yeah, Mia. I think you're right. I think we really need 15 minutes, not 10. I agree. You're welcome. I'm glad you got so much out of it too. I can't wait for all your stories back. That's what I'm waiting for. Okay, shutting it down. Thank you, Paul. You too. Stay cool. I have a sweater on. I'm freezing this morning, if you can't tell. It's funny in the middle of July.